Hey everybody, good morning, good morning, good morning. Wade, Don, Craig, Sergio, Steven, Dan, Alan, Valerie, Brian, Tom, Rosalind, Diana, Roland, Mark, Gayton, Andreas, Ivan, Don, Svinborn, Amy, welcome to the show. If you want to chat with me like all these fine folks, click the button over here, become a subscriber on the channel. You can chat. If I say things that are beneficial, make sure you like and subscribe and all the things that you need to do to support the video. And I appreciate comments along the way. If you like it, you don't like it, let me know. And anyway, we have the jobs report out. Looks like things are getting spicy. A little bit of pop. ES up about 48 points. Kapow. Can we keep it going here? This did not break down yesterday. We talked about that, how we needed to hold the low from Wednesday. And so far we did it. So far. But let's see how high this is going to go. This low right there. We're nearing the 618. 1618, excuse me. And that right there. If we hold the pullback, hold above this point over here, this one right there. On this pullback right here, got to hold above it. If we break below it, not great. That can project us higher, and then we can do a bigger retrace off of that. So need 5 up in a meaningful kind of way. And we'll talk about that here more in a minute. But all trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Past performance not necessarily indicative of future results. Just because I predict it may not come true. This presentation intended to be informational, educational, fun, entertaining, not a recommendation to be buying or selling any financial instrument. None at all. All right? So no stocks, options, bonds, forex, futures, cryptos, treasuries. Don't long them, don't short them. Don't trade them. If you don't know what you're doing, don't trade them. Don't buy stuff from gurus. Like me. Don't do it unless you trust them. And if you desire personal financial advice, you need somebody to tell you what buttons to push. You need somebody to tell you what trades to do based on your situation and how big to trade and all the things. You got to hire and consult a financial advisor. It's not what I do, and they may not even tell you how to trade. So make sure you trust them too if you hire one. It's not what I do. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just sharing what I'm doing. And here we are at the first Friday in October. Getting the jobs report this morning. We came out with average hourly earnings up slightly. Came out with non-farm employment change. We got 250,000 jobs added, maybe. And employment rate dropped back down. Is that good? Is it truthful? Is it real? You tell me. You tell me. Kimberly, I see you in the chat. Good morning. My favorite subscriber. And welcome everybody. So, what do we got next week? We're done with this week, right? There's nothing. We're down to the end this week. Next week coming up. Let's jump into next week. Well, nothing over the weekend. Monday looks kind of benign. Not really much coming out. Great for a Monday, right? Tuesday, we get some Fed members speaking. Wednesday, we get some FOMC meeting minutes. This is not the FOMC meeting. This is just minutes from the meeting that happened a couple weeks ago. Just kind of clarifies their position moving forward. It's looking like they might be amenable to another 0.5 point cut coming up after the election. Like their FOMC meetings, like the day after the election. They may be amenable to doing that. I don't know. We'll see. This language here could cause a little sparkiness in the market. Certainly, if they're willing to cut more, we may go more into that blow off top. And that blow off top can happen right into the election. And then we flush it down the toilet. It's kind of what we're setting up for right now. Then on Thursday, next week, we get the core CPI readings again and unemployment claims right there. And then Friday, we're going to get that PPI right there. I like these numbers pretty good. but they don't move much. It kind of precedes these numbers moving. And we're seeing some services, those services PMI that came out this week was indicating that services are kind of ramping up their, people are raising the prices for services. Those don't get reflected in these numbers right here, or these numbers right here. Not very well. So this is looked at as the inflation number by the kind of us normal people. And then Powell uses PCE, personal consumer expenditures, as his number. The differences between CPI and PCE are just in how they balance it. They take out all, it seems like they take out all the extra stuff that we spend our money on, because, you know, that stuff's volatile. Oh, we want a stable read on the inflation. Well, I mean, come on now. If prices are volatile, that means things aren't very, I mean, you shouldn't just take them out because they're volatile. And if we use the CPI method from the 80s, you know, we're still rocking at like 10, 11% on inflation. And here we are cutting into it. And, you know, I saw a number yesterday. The banks, U.S. banks, made $1 trillion in extra interest money from consumers by the Fed raising the rates. You know, that's that money sucking back out of the economy. But it doesn't go back to the government. It goes back to, I mean, it's hard. It's not really like out of the economy. It goes into those corporate profits, which get distributed out to shareholders, and, you know, all the things that happens there. And I don't know. It's what a weird time. And I'm still back to DGS2 over here. Does this little goose right here that we're doing, this little drop, little baby drop, does this thing actually cause us to rip higher? Does this cause inflation to come back? Now look right here. We've got the real market rate arcing up just a little bit. All it takes is it crossing back above that, and then we've got game on. It's an interesting thing. It's one to keep an eye on right there. If it continues, if it shoots back up, this will be interesting. I think it'll be interesting anyway. So the actual rate that the Fed, you know, this shows a quarter point. They actually did a half point, so they actually should be down here. Of course, it's just updates by the week, but this will be down here. We'll see what we get. We'll see what we get. Alrighty. Looks fun and spicy, right? Fun and spicy. All right, back to the market. So we've got S&P 500 futures coming up just shy of the 1618. We almost took back the drop from the first. It's from Tuesday. Almost took it back. And it feels, you know, it feels like a week of going nowhere. That's what we got right now. Haven't gone higher, haven't gone lower. I mean, we were down there. We just done nothing this week. Pretty much, we're coming back into where we started the week. Where we started the month. Where we started. Come on. There's resistance right there. If we get through it, cruising up. That's the base. I mean, bottom line. In Q, a little more difficult here. Not extremely difficult, just a little more difficult, a little spicier here. So we've got this choppy move up into that move. Got that retrace. Need to go a bit higher. Right up here to kind of confirm we can get some continuation on higher. Now, when you zoom out to the daily on NQ, this is the NASDAQ 100, by the way, just in case you're not up on what we're doing. Zooming her over here. Nice strong candle so far. If we can break it on out, we have a target way on up here. Now, S&P has been at all-time highs. NASDAQ has not since all the way back here in July. And like, wait a minute. It seems like the market's been pretty good. Yeah, the S&P has been up here making all-time highs, but the NASDAQ has been lagging. And these are usually the companies that, you know, NASDAQ 100 is usually the leaders. So this has been lagging a bit. And we see that when we look at like Microsoft. Oh, that chart looks nasty. Google. Oh, that chart looks kind of nasty too. And Amazon. Another chart that not looking super spicy spectacular. Right? All those are struggling to get back up there to those July highs. So we're just seeing tech out of favor right now. And, you know, some of the tech, Meta, it's being a leader, right? Netflix being a leader, making all-time highs. But then you gotta look at Nvidia. Still looks pretty rough. Now we're getting up there testing that downtrend of highs today in the pre-market. Can we bust through? Maybe. Maybe. It's the potential for a head and shoulders, although it looks like a double shoulder. Looks like a hunchback and whatever. Got a spare shoulder over here. So far, we're not breaking down. So far. Sloppy shoulder, I guess. So head, shoulder, head, shoulder, shoulder. We'll see what happens here. And this may continue just to fill out the squeeze. So we'll see on NVIDIA. It is on the poppers list. Nothing clear at the moment. Nothing clear. Russell here. I was suspecting we may finish up a head and shoulders pattern. May. Doesn't have to. May come up shy. Let's lighten this up just a bit. There we go. So we may come down here and finish that, and that would set up for the flush out scenario. Big down, probably target down around 1,500, 1,300. Could be very violent. Now, if we break out and get the high up here at 2370, changes the path a little bit. We'll see what happens. This whole thing resets, and we may set it up later. Now, I don't really expect it, but we could push out to new all-time highs and reset the whole correction here. That would be a twist in kind of what I expect, and maybe push out the potential correction for later into 2025, maybe even to 26 before we expect a big down in the market. So this is one of those things to, right now the warning lights are on. If the warning light goes back off, we're all clear for a little bit. So this is one to keep an eye on. This is one I always keep an eye on right here. Oil, zoomer up, breaking back into the wedge. Top side, next resistance up around 80. We get up to 90. And for those of you that can buy enough oil to push it around, like I've said, oil's down here. Incumbent team wins. Oil up here. The challenger returns to the control. I think the election might be as simple as that. Thanks, James. I appreciate it. Thank you. Consider being a channel member. So there you go on oil, probably back in the middle. And the middle is, that's the bias there until we can get to the top. So we tried to break out the bottom. Might be indicative of going higher, but sideways. And if we're in the middle, it's a coin flip on who wins right there. It's I think it comes down to energy prices. So gold, gold. Negative reaction on the jobs report. It's, I guess the bots are thinking stimulus might be called into question, but global liquidity is taking this thing higher. We're just back into a consolidation. I kind of said that the other day that we had this consolidation over here. I removed the box, but we had this one here. We legged up to here. We had this one for 4 days. We legged up to here. We've got this one for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days now. Depends on where you start your consolidation, whether you count it from the top or you count it from over here. Do another one of these, then we'll probably leg up again. And we consolidate back here, moved up, retrace, consolidate, move it up, consolidate, moved up, consolidate, move it up, consolidate, moved up. That's probably what we're going to do. 3,000 is probably where we're heading. It's just a matter of how long does it take to get there. Bitcoin reacting kind of favorably. We are holding the roadmap lines so far. We're still inside the range we've been inside for a few days here. That doji, we're still inside that doji right there. Like that high, that low. Still inside that range. Can't get about. Haven't been able to get out so far. It's a good spot to hold it and ramp it up higher. But we've got to follow through. So nothing proves it yet. The high probability trade sets up for a very small high probability trade. We break above the 618 here. We set it up to ramp on up, potentially break through that resistance at the first downtrend, the more aggressive downtrend. So if we break through this 64,000 area, we probably have the setup to go up to 67.5, at least on Bitstamp's numbers. Coinbase is pretty USD. Coinbase is usually right in there too, very close to those numbers. That high, that low, break through that 64,000. Yep, and yeah, 67.5. Pretty darn close. Pretty darn close there. If I actually grab the candle top, Macy's, huh? Sell Macy's trade. Let's see. Oh, that worked out. Congratulations, anybody took that one. Working out on Macy's. All right. That's Bitcoin for you. Ethereum. Unclear. That would be that's a 3-wave up, and that was a deep retrace. This is a 3-wave move to a lower high. Unclear is what we have on Ethereum right at the moment. This went lower than it needed to it's sitting right at the 618. Went a little lower than I wanted to see it go. If this is somehow a 5-wave up, like this is really, really sketchily, like this could be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a retrace. If the next move heads up in a 5-wave fashion, probably take us up to, we really got to get to this level on the next move or above. So this is the key level right in here. This needs to shoot up here or higher. We can go higher. Right in there is where we need to go. Retrace, hold the roadmap line right there, and get the heck out of here. That can take all of crypto higher. All of it can go rocket ship higher. Big SpaceX rocket. That's what we want to see, right? That's what we want to see. So that potential exists, but we got to get the follow through. Got to break through the roadmap line, that resistance, got to break through this prior high, got to get continuation. DXY, back to the resistance on the upside that we were, so we probably go retest that. Roadmap line still a little above, so we may poke on up, tap that. Bias is still down for the long term. We have not gone down to hit the target at the mid 90s, and we may take this whole move back over here. You know, the resting spot on the dollar for a number of years has kind of been right around. I mean, look, you just kind of look at the flip point here, right around this 89, 90. Get a little move up, get a little move down. A lot of those highs and lows hang out right around that 90 area. Put it right through there. See how on the long term we kind of keep returning there since the 90s. We'll get a little move up. We'll go right back down. We'll get a little move down. We'll come back up, come back up, come back up through, down, down, to probably going to come back down there. That's what it looks like. NKD, Japanese stock market futures. We're so close. Come on, break on out. Do it. Do it. Do the thing. Do the thing. Do the thing. If this can break higher, I've kind of held this for a few weeks now. If we can actually break up out of here, probably going on up to 44,000. Rocking and rolling right up here. And it'll probably take the U.S. markets up with it. All right. What's popping and dropping on the market? So I went and pulled everything moving $2 or more up, put it on the list. I went and pulled everything moving $2 or more down and put it on the list. And that's where we get gainers and decliners for today. And then I have a bonus trade coming up at the end. So hang around to the end. And if anything I said is helpful, beneficial, you do like James, give me a tip or give me some interaction, give me some love in the chat. Let me know what's going on and what you like, what you don't like. I appreciate all the feedback. All right, FNGU. Bang. 3x leverage. Leverage stuff is dangerous stuff, so be careful on leverage. Right there. We've got a significant resistance. This gap down left us in the lurch here. Right there, that gap. We've been unable to fill it here. Unable to fill it. Unable to even break into it. Now, can we reattempt it and get through today? Got a little gap up here, or gap down right there too. More resistance. Resistance here. It's stacked against us here for the fangs. And, you know, as we went through and looked at Apple, Microsoft, Google, you know, all those charts, they're looking kind of weak. So fangs not looking this strong. And this is leverage on fangs, so it cuts both ways. Like 3x down, 3x up. That's the way this kind of works. Be careful. And it's on the top of the list here, so fangs might be strong today. I'd love to see it bust on up. 627 is the upside target. We've kind of already triggered that potential. Just waiting on the result. BGNE up to some targets. Bigger resistance on up here at 285 area. I'm not convinced that that's going to break on out. That looks like a downtrend of highs so far, but it did break through, retested. Maybe we're going higher. Yeah, we got significant resistance coming up right here. And do it one other way. Yeah, we're through that resistance, but yeah, it's probably going to find resistance at this 277 to 310 area. It may retrace again after that. So that's the spot right there. ASML. Looking on down. Turning down below the roadmap line. This is significant resistance going higher. And then the gap down over here. Same things. So if we get through, we got that to deal with. If we bounce off, coming down, missed the target before, that would be what I expect. We're going. Nail. We hit resistance. Watch out for the retrace. Probably coming down to the roadmap line right down here. If you need the roadmap line, you wonder, you know, JT, what's this orange line, the yellow line, whatever you're talking about that you keep saying things are going to? Well, first off, you can click on the channel name right down underneath me here. Click my logo and go to the homepage and watch where I say my favorite indicator. It's got some arrows and me like all surprised. You can watch that and get it. Like I teach you how it works and it's all for free. And if you just want, if you're like, I want a little more though. I want a masterclass. I want a list of stocks that are bouncing off of it. I want some high probability trades, all based around it. Link is in the description. It's like $5. Plus, you can come hang out in my Discord community, all for $5. So that's what you get right there. Just by putting a little faith in me, supporting me a little bit, I give you some support back. So we're looking for this roadmap line to hold and then go again. But right now, since we've found significant resistance at that target, the retrace is what I expect on nail. And this is I'll look for this pattern over and over and over on all of these today. So GS, probably going to come back to the roadmap line right there. We're seeing, now we did on the lower time frame, this did bounce, came up shy getting the target. We bounced again with a higher low, and we're bouncing again with a higher low. So this one may be set up to go to 528, but it also missed touching on the daily. So we may see that hit down here on the daily over here. We may. Right in there. All right. Simple as that sometimes. Come on. Give me where's that? I saw you show up. Move it to, there you go. Get rid of that. And dun, dun, dun. Do you see gaps as vacuum or wall? Wall. Or resistance usually. SLR. Significant resistance there. May retrace it back to the roadmap line. If we break down below this low over here, going down. And wall for going higher. When we got gap downs, like right there, that'll be a wall. Why? Why does it act like a wall? People bought right here. Right? They got surprised. They doubled down. And like, things are looking up. Maybe double down again. That's, don't stay wrong, right? Have your wrong point and get the heck out. But I've been around enough traders, probably doubling down again. I know Goose. Goose will do this too. Like I know he'll do that. How do I know trader? Like I've talked to lots of traders over the years that do this. Like, I've got gap down. It looks like support. I'm gonna double down. Oh no, it's going down again. Oh, now we're at support. We're gonna double down again, right? So now this thing climbs up. I'm starting to be back, just down a little bit. Comes back up to into this gap zone. You're positive again. You're actually making some money. You're like, I'm done with this thing. I'm just gonna get the GTFO, get the fudge out, sell, get out, and there's enough people that do this. It's like market psychology, all right? There's enough people that do this that it creates a resistance and we go back down. Now, the ideal spot, we would hold the roadmap line on the retrace, hold support in here, and then bust up through on the next attempt. But doesn't have to. Doesn't have to. So watch out for those resistance points where we gap. Now, gaps up, sometimes they fill, sometimes they don't. I don't look at it as we've got to always fill the gaps. And that gap will probably be some sort of support resistance zone in the future. That same psychology doesn't play out on the downside. It's not like people shorten and then they're going to buy back when we fill the gap. It's not really the way it works. So I see gaps down as upside resistance. Now gaps up, a little different dynamic going on there. There can be support there, but it's not nearly as strong as resistance for gaps up. And funny enough, we kind of gapped this zone. We gapped up in the zone. We gapped right back down that zone. and cruised on down. So there's a significant kind of resistance having to do with that 464 price on Ulta right there. Monday, MDY mid cap. I think it was MND. Was it MNDY? Yeah, that's Monday.com. It's just crazy. Anyway, this one probably going to shoot up to the target, 583. Spider mid cap. So Spider has lots of products. SPY is their most popular product. Spider S&P. So MDY is their mid cap product right here. If you've never heard of it, welcome to the show. 583 right there. Upside target. CRWD. Significant resistance right here where we are. This has only been a 3-wave up so far, and it's holding below the 618. We do have that giant gap also. This may come down to this target down here. We may, if there's a lot of ifs here, but if we break down below this low, shoot down here, break below that, that would be the downside area right there. Now, if we can get up through, it's a lot of if we can get up through, cruising on up, and this set up a bigger potential move. Oh, not arrow. I don't need an arrow. Potentially going up to like 550. Big if. We got to break through that resistance there. Roadmap line, resistance, 618, resistance, gap down, resistance. All three of those breakthrough might be heading up to this 550 area. Why? Because it hit potentially a strong support in here. On the non-log scale, it hit the 618. Can shoot off much higher up here. Maybe even 600. I go for 500, 520. That'd probably be a much safer target. ANET, but we got lots of upside to go on CRWD. CrowdStrike. ANET is at the targets, so might it go a little higher? Sure, 428, but that's less likely than that. Right back down to the roadmap line. See how it's respected here, respected here. Didn't even touch it there. Probably gonna come back again. Maybe like, how do you have this magic line? Look at that. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Links in the description. You'll find out more. Or you can just watch the video on, like I said, the channel homepage. I've got it pinned to the channel homepage. APOG. Right here. And some of these, some people are just like, well, I wish I had an automated way to find these setups if they're so high probability. That's what I've got. Triple Threat that does that. I've got Echo Trades that does that. I've got Apollo that does that. And for Termite Trading Labs, I even have a daily chart finder. And that's where the bonus trades come from. Usually I pick the best 1 or 2 bonus trades every day. And that's what I brought in today. So QQQ. This is set up to bust on up. Just like the NASDAQ I was saying earlier, we have not hit that target up there at 513. Not done it. Well, that's cool. Fill it up with a back test. So right there, we fired it off. Fired off the entry right there. Waiting, 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 waiting. Shoot up there. Let's hit the target. Let's get it. Just 84% of the time in the past we've set up this exact price pattern. We've done it 25 times in the history. Usually takes about 41 bars on average. Could be 82. I mean, it could be 2 times, 3 times, 4 times longer. Doesn't have to be. But the profit factor is pretty smoking. So this thing usually works out and usually makes a bunch of money on the upside when it does. So it's a high probability pattern. Works out 84% of the time on QQQ. I like it. And sorry if my face was blocking the way. Yen. This one's likely to retrace. All right, be careful. Be careful, be careful. Coming up into resistance. Got this resistance right up here at 75. We've got this resistance right up here at 105. And it's being a little crazy. All right, look at every time in the last 2 years when it's gotten a little crazy, what happened? Came right back down. Don't expect this time's any different. Got that a lot of trouble. A lot of traders get trapped thinking, well, what did it? That time it did it and went lower. That time it did it and went lower. This time's different, right? Don't get caught. Don't get caught thinking this time's different, all right? It doesn't have to keep going. Plus, look, that's a reverse split. All right? The one over here was at prices that were 20 times higher. Or 20 times lower, I guess. Say it the correct way. 20, divide current price by 20. They multiplied this by 20 when they reverse split it. You divide this by 20 and we're at like $2 or something like that. So be careful. Leverage cuts both ways. ALB, Amble Marble. Yeah, somebody was saying there a lot of their infrastructure got destroyed in North Carolina, but that's, hey, look at that on shooting up there. Resistance right up here at the roadmap line. Now it may go lower. We'll see what happens. Tesla retraced back to the 618. Had a little trouble getting through, popped up, tried to go higher, rejected, back to that 618 level. That was where the gap was. Dun, 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 dun. Coming back to test it again. Can we get through? If we do, upside target 284. Possibly. On higher. 350 is my target. Going into the Robo event. Next week now? 6 days away? Ooh. See what happens. See what happens. So we're sitting right there. Potentially that was the bounce we needed. It's the same size. So this was an echo. Look right here. We did that same exact size retrace right there. What was the effect? Right there, that retrace resulted in that move. This is a classic echo trade type situation. Put us right up here, 295 area. If this plays out just like it had right over here. It's just echo trade. Like that's just echo trade theory for me. The market does echoes. Like we do the same size pullbacks and we do the same size extensions. So 295 would kind of be the expectation there. AMET still below the resistance. We had the gap down. We had the 618, all the things, and we came up shy of total support that I thought we might go test. So the longer we hang out here, the more likely it is we're going to go touch that. ANF, Abercrombie & Fitch, sit on the roadmap line, rejected the 618, may bust down, do a head and shoulders, which could take us down to 54. Be vigilant on that. Say be careful a lot because there's danger. Like if this pattern completes, we could be down at, this 54, 45 area down here. Down around 40, 50, 60. Be careful, all right? Don't think it has to go up. Like this has been on a tear. Like that also could be the bubble pattern. And we consolidated, and then when we take it all the way back down to this area back down here where we started from. If you're unfamiliar on the bubble pattern, it's right here. We go rocking and rolling up. We consolidate a little bit, and then we take it right back down. Now, the scary thing, if you kind of think about it, Bitcoin did this, kind of consolidating here. Do we break down? Or were we consolidating over here and we break up? I don't know. TCOM. Cruising. Target right up there, 75. LABU. This is leverage biotech. That's two things that don't always follow patterns. There's four things that don't follow patterns. One of those, biotechs. That's anything that Food and Drug Administration in the United States involved in, biotech, pharma, med tech, med specialties, all that sort of stuff. That whole sector. Number 2, leverage stuff. Number 3, low price stuff. Stuff under $10. That's stocks, not anything else. Just stocks. Equities under $10. And number 4, China stuff. So that's why I'm leery on China too, especially the leveraged China stuff. So there you go. When you combine 2 of them, that's like extra dangerous. So biotech and leverage, be careful. This may fail out and go lower. Right now we've got the setup for it to go higher, but this is my least favorite pattern right here, this watermelon seed squeeze thing, and that may result in ultimate failure. Could result in a pop, but could result in failure. Coin rejected the roadmap line right there. Caution, we need to be above this resistance right up here to go higher. That's what I'm waiting on. Got my alerts all in here. We could bounce off this and go, but we got to get above that zone right there. We got the roadmap line, and then we've got this. So that's 2 layers of resistance to go higher. If we can bust through them, looks pretty good. Lululemon. There's the resistance at the roadmap line. If we get above it, that's kind of what I expect. This is what I expect if we can break above. Otherwise, if we reject, going lower. SMH. Still got a few friends with me. All right. Let's get on down the list. SMH, resistance, significant resistance right there at that 618. Significant resistance. If we can get through it, we do have that gap down up here, which may be more resistance. Right there. 294 on the upside, if we can do it. DPST, back to the roadmap line. We hit the upside target. So can it move off of here? Just clear everything. That high, that low. This is leverage on banks. There's resistance. Clear as day right there. Break through it. Target 127, 133, possibly 150 on the upside. If we reject it and break down, if we make a lower low, like right now we're cooking this uptrend of lows. If we break down below that, maybe coming down here, that target would look something like this at this point. Went a little aggressive on that. Something right there. Something like that right there, around 48. Yeah, that's a big retrace too. 95 down to 48. Ouch. MSTR. This is acting like leverage Bitcoin. We kind of pushed through, back testing a little bit. If we can push on out, we're probably cruising those bigger targets up here around 213, 220, 226 area, right up in here. That's I'm long this one. I'm in it. I mean, I got shares. Looking for it to pop. I've been in it since before the split. Looking for it to rock and roll. ZS under the roadmap line. This is looking kind of bearish. Be careful. That may flush on down. Amazon has the setup to go higher, but it seems to be waiting and waiting and waiting. This 209 area, 207, 209. That's where I'm expecting it to pop up to next. It has the setup to go up higher. If we start breaking down below the roadmap line and this low right here, probably doing this. That's what to watch out for. McDonald's has a 10-10 event. Also, watch for that. Supposedly it's not related to Tesla's 10-10 event. We'll see though. All right, SOXX, significant resistance right there. Rejected that high, rejected that breakout, rejected that breakout. Higher low. It's kind of a coin flip. If we can break through, cruising on up to 79. China Web. Resistance for this one still up here at these prior highs. USD, Ultra Semiconductors. This is leverage on semiconductors. Still the same as like SMH and SOXX. gap downs, resistance, lower highs, higher lows. Ugh. It's a nasty looking chart. Be careful. This may fail on you if you're chasing it higher. And EDU, so far, not getting the confirmation we're going higher. Need to break through this zone. Needed to get a close above the 618. Just have not done it yet. Didn't do it yesterday. Potential to do it today. Still, I mean, we didn't do it 2 days back. We didn't do it yesterday. We still making all this resistance here. If we can get above now, 86, looks like 105. But if not, we may go make a lower low. IWM. Now this, here's when I was drawing on the Russell RTY earlier. This is kind of the pattern here. But it did trigger, we did trigger the bullishness, and it's 79% with 29 trades in the history. So the high probability thing is for this to pop up. Just based on the price action that we've got in here, I'm very hesitant that this might fail. So the naive condition, we're probably going on up based on the 79% win rate. But look at the price action. We may fail on this one and add to the loss column. So a little bit cautious there for me. I'm not long and I'm not short on Russell. Actually, I have no exposure to Russell. Ongoing exposure right now. AMD stuck in this resistance. We've got this resistance we've built up over here. Built it up before we popped it. Right there, it was support, and then we crashed through. Then resistance. Tried to get above it, failed miserably. Back to it. If we fail again, probably coming down here to the target. Right there on AMD. If we can get through it, 246 on the upside. BABA coming up into that resistance at those prior highs. Watch for a deep retrace. That can take us all the way back down to 85 pretty quickly. CRM, there's the resistance right there. We break through it. I mean, we're kind of set the stage for this to go higher. We just haven't followed through yet. Haven't followed through. This has a little bit of resistance right there. We see we gap down there, gap down big here. Just getting into that gap. We came up and rejected pretty hard, coming up again. Yeah, that's that classic thing I was talking about right there. Somebody got caught. They like doubled down. We came up, get out. Came up a little higher, get out. Come up a little higher. If we fill the gap, we may see another pullback again. So be careful there. Too calm. Major resistance cooking right here. If we can pop through it, the upside looks very, very good. If we don't, we may go cruising way on down. This is like a dangerous set of resistance. I wanted to see this bust on through, go cruising, but it's not so far. It may be indicative that we fail this pattern and come down. And if we get below there, coming on down. JPM. Bounced off here, got the extension. Back to it would be the expectation. Find support again and go up for the next move. Long-term target up there above 230. BST. We're basically at extensions. Be careful. This can retrace 140. I would expect that. Baidu. Lots and lots of upside resistance here. And I cleared all this off and it drew it right back. I love this platform for that. Save. That was a sarcastic comment. We did this low right here. It was lower than the current low. We made this move up right here. We did a deep retrace, which kind of looked like we were going to break down and go lower, but we didn't. So now we've got the potential. Got a potential with lots of upside resistance to go. Lots and lots of resistance. This move up, right to that high. This retrace right to that low. So despite the fact we've got all this resistance built up over here, this would be where I would expect we're probably cruising to right now. At least 175, 180, maybe 200. That's where I would expect it to go if this is real. Like if we don't just fail here. We've got lots, like I said, there's layers and layers and layers of resistance to get through. And we may actually have to back test the breakout here. So we kind of broke out of the downtrend of highs. May have to come back, retest before we can turn higher. And break above that would indicate we're probably on the way up here. It could go as high as right up here with this long-term target I had. Doesn't have to, but it's kind of what it looks like right now for Baidu. ACMR. And like I was talking about yesterday, like the stimulus, the 5 trillion won they threw out, the bang for the buck may not get us the move. So may not be sustainable. But who am I to say anything? I don't think the market moves because of stimulus and stuff like that. I mean, it's like a catalyst, but you know, that's a downtrend of highs. Be careful. If it rejects, we can go down here and we reject that, going down to 4 AVGO. That's set to go to the high here at 194 TECL. There's a long list today. Resistance built up pretty good. This is 3x leverage on bulls, 3x bull leverage on technology. Get all the words out in the right order. Resistance right here, and if we break through, 125. ARM, significant resistance right where we are. I thought we might rally up to 157 and then roll down. My target's been to fill that gap and possibly make a lower low. We'll see what happens when we fill it. That was only 3 waves up so far. Then we're going back down. Eventually, Carvana just keeps pushing targets. Craziest thing. Be careful. This is likely to do another one of these retraces. You see how it's been the same size, kind of, consistently? This pullback's been about that big, about that big, about that big. Another one of those probably coming right up in here. If not a little bigger. Bang. Diamondback Energy, still stuck in the roadmap line area, vicinity. There is the resistance zone. If we can get above that, right there. Above 200, it looks like we're going up to 220. CNTX, wow. That's a nasty chart. Lots of gaps. I don't like it. Not going to talk about it. FUTU. Yeah, rocking and rolling, baby. That pull that down to the lows. I mean, we're basically set up to go higher. Let's just clear this off and put that high, this low, breaking through 277 would be the big target, and that could take. I mean, look, this topped out in 21. Could take 26, 27 to get up here. I mean, we're on a vertical climb right now, but we could retrace, and it could take out here to get there. EMPH, I could get there faster, but it could take a while. EMPH just consolidating. I mean, where's that? That's not looking smoking. It looks like we may go lower there. Be careful on that one. Royal Caribbean, getting a little got a little retrace, man, just a little, could go on up to 205, possibly 210. SMMT, Summit Therapeutics, that's a biotech. Be careful what I said earlier. And it's also low priced, so be careful. XLK has a setup to go up to 246. How long? Could take a while. I mean, on average, 36 days, but it could be 72 trading days, could be 100, 100 whatever, 118. Could take twice as long, 3 times as long. This kicked it off back here. So we could be talking about 108. I mean, it could be all the way out here in January before we get there. So no guarantees. VRT, that one's set to rock and roll up here, 118. PDD, set up, it kicked off. Like, there's the entry too. Like, it flagged it now. There's the entry, 180, target up there. MU, stuck on the roadmap line. URTY, that's just ultra Russell. That's a leverage Russell, and that chart looks pretty nasty, but it has the setup to go higher. Has an entry fired off right there based on this pattern right that high, this low. Missed the low. Based on that swing right there, got target potential up here at 65, and we're just mucking around in here. TQQQ, I am in this one looking for this target. Go baby go. Looks like we're getting a pullback now. The recircle back and look at the expectation for the day. Net ease, potentially breaking out of the downtrend of highs. We got the target on the downside there that I expected. Let's see what we got. Could be a measured bounce at this point. Let's turn this off. Too many little flags everywhere. So that would be the upside target up here around 180 at the minimum, 150, 180, maybe even higher. Looks best on the non-log scale, so that would be 150 to 160, maybe. Dash. DoorDash set up to rally on up to 150, 155, 170. QQQM. NASDAQ 100 ETF set to go to 212. QLD set to go up to 1415 area. MS set to go on up to 111. NVIDIA. Caution, that may fail. Talked about that earlier. Reddit, that looks like a nasty chart. We're probably going to make a lower low than the IPO low back here at 37. Be careful. That looks like a sketchy chart. Airbnb, that looks like rejection of the roadmap area. We may result in a lower dip. LRCX, that's bearish underneath the roadmap line. Be careful. Can take us on down to 68, 70 area. Decliners, we had ZIM coming back to the roadmap line. Looking for that support. Just clear all this stuff off. Looking for the roadmap line. Then we have resistance up here and a target of 27, or we could dip lower back down to the $10 area. ZROZ, back to the roadmap line. This is 25-year zero coupon treasury index exchange rate, blah, 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 blah. It's a roadmap bounce. If we get back above this 84 area, cruising on up to 88, maybe 90. And the bonus today is MPC. Now, that's not clear, right? What the heck? So look right here. We've got that high. We've got that low. Got this fired off. 186 target. Stop below 156. It's an $11 upside. 91% of the time this has worked out in the past. 6 profit factor. 31 trading days on average. 12 trades since 2011. So not a huge population. Not statistically significant. But it's still out there. All right. So there you go. So when you zoom up, let's just clear it off. Maybe like, why not this high? Well, the pattern looks for a certain time frame for the pattern to work. So it found this high right here, found this low right here. There's the setup and that target right up there, 186. All right. Bias for the day before I wrap it up. I lost most of the crowd. Bias for the day. Looking for this to hold. Looks like we rejected, going higher just a little bit, retracing. Jump down in the lower time frame here. So what we've done since we opened. Oh, I wanted to see that continue on up. This could be a corrective move. We need to hold, we got to break above that high. That's what we got to do. So above 20,300 on NQ, we're probably going higher. ES, oh, we did hit the So this might be bullish if we break above 5,800. We're going on out probably to 6,000 over the coming weeks. That's kind of the expectation here. All right. Thanks for coming, everybody. We'll see you again Monday. Same bad time, same bad channel. I'll be in Discord hanging out, and I'll